Think about the best boss you've ever had. What made them great? Chances are you aren't thinking about how well they manage the spreadsheet or how efficiently they organize the weekly meeting schedule. You are likely remembering how they made you feel. You remember that they listened to you, trusted you, and pushed you to achieve more than you thought possible. That is the fundamental difference between management and leadership. Management is a title. Leadership is an action. Management is about organizing processes. Leadership is about empowering people. Whether you are a newly promoted supervisor, a seasoned executive, or an entrepreneur building a team from the ground up, this audiobook is designed to help you cross the bridge from being a good manager to becoming a great leader. Let's begin. The hardest transition in any professional's career happens the moment they are promoted to their first management role. Why? Because the skills that earn you the promotion are rarely the skills you need to succeed in the new job. As an individual contributor, your value was measured by your personal output. If you were a software engineer, your success was measured by the quality of your code. If you were in sales, it was your closing rate. You were rewarded for being a doer. But the moment you step into management, the rules of the game change entirely. Your success is no longer about what you can do. It is about what your team can do. This requires a profound psychological shift. You must let go of the urge to see the work yourself and instead embrace the challenge of guiding others to do it. This is where many new managers stumble. They fall into the trap of micromanagement. They believe that because they know how to do the job well, they should dictate exactly how their team does it. But true leadership requires letting go. So how do you make this shift? It starts with 3 core principles. Principle number 1, shift your focus from output to outcomes. A manager tells their team exactly how to build a bridge. The leader tells their team why the bridge needs to be built, where it needs to go, and then asks the team to figure out the best way to build it. You must learn to set clear goals and expectations, but leave the execution up to your people. This builds autonomy and trust. Principle number 2, become a roadblock remover. Your primary job is no longer to do the heavy lifting. Your job is to walk ahead of your team, identify the obstacles in their path, and clear them out of the way. When an employee comes to you with a problem, your instinct might be to solve it for them. Instead, ask them, what do you need from me to help you solve this? Principle number 3, embrace the power of the 1-1. The most important meeting on your calendar is not the all-hands strategy session. It is the dedicated, uninterrupted time you spend with your direct reports. These meetings should not be status updates. They are opportunities to coach, to listen, and to understand your team's career aspirations and daily frustrations. Making the shift from doer to director takes time. You will make mistakes. You will occasionally step in and take over a project when you shouldn't. But by consciously practicing these 3 principles, you will begin to build a team that operates at a high level even when you aren't in the room. If the shift from doer to director is the first step in your leadership journey, then building trust is the road you walk on. Without trust, your title means nothing. Your team might comply with your requests out of obligation, but they will never give you their best, most creative work. Trust is the currency of leadership, and the primary way you earn that currency is through how you communicate. Many new managers mistakenly believe that good communication means being a great public speaker, giving rousing speeches at company, wide meetings, or sending perfectly crafted emails. While those skills are useful, true leadership communication happens in the quiet moments. It happens in the bedroom, on quick video calls, and during moments of high stress. To build an unshakable foundation of trust with your team, you must master 3 vital communication habits. Habit number 1, practice the 80-20 rule of listening. The most common mistake managers make is believing they always need to have the answer. When an employee comes to them with a problem, they immediately start talking, offering solutions, and giving advice. A great leader flips this dynamic. They practice the 80-20 rule. Listen 80% of the time and talk only 20% of the time. When you actively listen, truly focusing on what the other person is saying without formulating a response while they speak, you show immense respect. You also empower your team to solve their own problems. The next time someone brings you an issue, try asking, what do you think our next step should be? And simply listen. Habit number 2, embrace clear and direct feedback. There is a popular saying in leadership circles, clear is kind, unclear is unkind. Many managers avoid giving constructive feedback because they don't want to hurt someone's feelings or cause conflict. So they sugarcoat the truth or avoid the conversation entirely. But withholding feedback is actually a breach of trust. If your team member is underperforming, they deserve to know, and they deserve your help to get better. When giving feedback, focus on the behavior, not the person. Don't say you're being careless with your requests. Instead, say, I noticed the last 3 requests had significant data errors. When we talk about your review process, this approach removes the personal attack and focuses entirely on solving the problem together. Habit number 3, lead with vulnerability. For decades, the traditional corporate mindset taught us that leaders must always appear strong, certain, and flawless. We now know that the opposite is true. Perfection creates distance. Vulnerability creates connection. When you make a mistake, and you will own it immediately. Tell your team, I made the wrong call on that project, and here is what I learned from it. When you admit your own faults, you create a psychologically safe environment for your team. You send a powerful message that it is okay to take risks. It is okay to fail. And most importantly, it is safe to tell the truth. When your team knows you will listen to them, give them honest feedback, and admit your own mistakes, trust naturally follows. And once you have their trust, there is no limit to what you can achieve together. Here's chapter 3, continuing right where we left off. Audio cue, a slightly faster rhythmic acoustic guitar fade in, lasting 5 seconds before dropping to background level narrator. Chapter 3, the fire and the fuel, ending conflict and inspiring motivation. By now, you understand that your role has shifted from executing tasks to empowering people. And you know that trust is the foundation of that empowerment. Or what happens when the waters get choppy? What happens when a team member loses their drive? Or when two of your best people just can't seem to get along? Welcome to the true test of leadership. Let's start with fuel motivation. For a long time, the corporate world relied on a simple formula to motivate people: the carrot and the stick. If you do well, you get a bonus. If you do poorly, you get reprimanded. While this works for simple routine tasks, it completely fails when it comes to the complex creative problem solving required in today's workplace. True motivation, the kind that makes people excited to log on or show up on a Monday morning, is an inside job. It is called intrinsic motivation. And as a leader, you can force it, but you can create an environment where it thrives. To foster intrinsic motivation, focus on three elements: autonomy, mastery, and purpose. First, autonomy. Nobody likes to be micromanaged. Give your team control over how they do their work, when they do it, or who they do it whenever possible. Second, mastery. Human beings have a natural desire to get better at things that matter. Are you providing your team with opportunities to learn, grow, and stretch their skills? And third, purpose. Your team needs to know that their work matters. It is your job to constantly connect their daily tasks to the bigger picture. Don't just tell them to build a wall. Show them the cathedral they are helping to create. Audio cue. The music shifts to a slightly more serious, grounded tone narrator. Now, let's talk about the fire conflict. Most people instinctively avoid conflict. It's uncomfortable. But as a leader, you must learn to run toward the fire, not away from it. Unresolved conflict is a toxic lead. If you ignore it, it will eventually poison your entire team's culture. The most important thing to remember is that conflict itself is not inherently bad. In fact, passionate debate over ideas is a sign of a healthy, engaged team. The problem arises when conflict becomes personal. When mediating a dispute or addressing an issue directly with an employee, use the ask, don't tell framework instead of marching into a room and declaring who is right and who is wrong. Start by asking questions. Say, help me understand your perspective on this. Then turn to the other person and say, now help me understand yours. Your goal is not to be the judge and jury. Your goal is to be the facilitator. By forcing both sides to articulate their viewpoints calmly, you strip away the emotion and expose the root of the problem. Once the root is exposed, you can guide them to collaborate on a solution. Remember, you are no longer just managing the work. You are managing the environment in which the work happens. Keep the fuel of motivation clean and don't be afraid to put out the fires of personal conflict early. Here is chapter 4. Continuing our focus on building your audiobook script, I have woven in examples related to high-stakes project environments to make the management concepts feel concrete and realistic. Audio cue. A steady, driving electronic beat fades in, symbolizing momentum and structure. Then lowers to background level narrator. Chapter 4. Building a resilient team culture. When most people hear the phrase company culture, they immediately picture superficial perks, ping pong tables in the break room, free catered lunches, or casual Fridays. But real team culture has absolutely nothing to do with perks. Real culture is tested and reviewed entirely by how your team behaves under pressure. Imagine your team is in the final stages of a critical, high-stakes project, perhaps overseeing the rigorous QA/QC process for a massive data center build, or finalizing the integration of complex electrical systems. The pressure is immense, the timeline is slipping. Suddenly, a junior technician discovers a major costly flaw that will delay the launch. What happens next? Does the technician try to hide the error out of fear of getting fired? Does the team immediately start pointing fingers to figure out who is to blame? Or does the team rally together, elevate the issue immediately, and focus entirely on finding a solution? That reaction right there in the crucible of a crisis is your culture. And as a leader, you are the architect of that culture. To build a resilient team that thrives under pressure, you need to establish 3 foundational pillars. Pillar number 1, psychological safety. If your team is afraid of you, they will hide their mistakes until those mistakes become catastrophes. Psychological safety means that every member of your project team feels secure enough to raise a red flag, ask a stupid question, or admit a failure without fear of humiliation or retaliation. You build this safety by how you react to bad news. When someone brings you a problem, your first words should never be, "Whose fault is this?" Your first words must be, "Thank you for bringing this to my attention. Let's look at how we can fix it." Pillar number 2, focus on systems, not scapegoats. In complex engineering or project management environments, errors are rarely the result of a single person's malicious intent. They are usually the result of a broken system. If a quality control check is missed, a weak leader blames the inspector. A resilient leader examines the system. Were the procedures clear? Was the team overworked? Did they have the right tools? When you focus on fixing the root process rather than punishing the person, you build a culture of continuous improvement. Pillar number 3, share accountability. Resilient cultures do not have a "that's not my job" mentality. When the pressure is on, the silos must come down. It starts with you. If a project fails, the resilient leader stands in front of the team and takes the blame. But when the project succeeds, the same leader steps to the back and gives all the credit to the team. When you model extreme ownership, your team will naturally begin to take ownership of their own responsibilities, supporting one another to cross the finish line. Culture isn't what you write in a mission statement. It is what you tolerate, what you reward, and how you lead when the stakes are at their highest. We have covered a lot of ground together. We started by acknowledging the difficult fundamental shift required to move from being a doer to a director, from focusing on your own output to empowering the outcomes of your team. We explored the absolute necessity of trust and how it is built, not through grand speeches, but through the quiet, consistent habits of listening, clear feedback, and vulnerable communication. We discuss how to handle the inevitable fires of conflict with curiosity instead of judgment, and how to fuel your P as intrinsic motivation by offering autonomy, mastery, and a sense of purpose. Finally, we looked at how to build a resilient culture that focuses on fixing systems rather than finding scapegoats when the pressure is on. But if you take only one thing away from this audiobook, let it be this: management is about the present. It is about hitting these quarter's targets, finishing this week's project, and solving today's problem. Leadership, however, is about the future. It is about the legacy you leave behind. Years from now, the people who work for you will not remember the specific deadlines they hit or the spreadsheets they updated, but they will remember exactly how you treated them. They will remember if you took a chance on them when they were unproven. They will remember if you stood by them when they made a mistake. They will remember if you helped them see a potential within themselves that they couldn't see on their own. When you make the shift from managing tasks to inspiring people, you aren't just improving your company's bottom line. You are fundamentally changing the trajectory of people's careers and often their lives. Leadership is not the destination you arrive at. It is a practice you commit to every single day. It will be challenging. It will stumble. But the reward, building a team that trusts you, respects you, and achieves greatness together, is worth every ounce of effort. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Now, it is time to step up, step back, and lead.